Let's start by understanding some of the basic terminology of a circle. What is a chord? It is the line joining any 2 points of the circle. This is called a chord. A diameter is also a chord that passes through the center. It is the largest chord of the circle. All diameters are of equal length and it is twice the radius. I think this is pretty basic. All of us have an idea about this. D equals 2r. What is an arc? An arc is a piece of circle between 2 points. Like this over here is called an arc, which is formed by this chord. And if you look at this circle, this one is a minor arc and this one is basically the major arc. Please remember the difference. This is the major arc. Okay, moving on. What's a semicircle? A diameter basically divides the circle into two equal arcs, which are semicircles. This one is a semicircle, this is basically a semicircle, and this is also a semicircle. What's the circumference? The length of the complete circle is its circumference. In this scenario, if I divide the circle into major arc and minor arc, I can say the summation of major arc plus minor arc will give me the circumference. What's a segment? The region between a chord and arcs is the segment of a circle. Like in this scenario, this is basically a segment. Please remember this. But there's a difference. If I form this arc by two radii, like this, one radius here, then this region basically becomes a sector. Please remember this difference. Now let's have a look at the relationship between central angle, arc length and sector area. This is quite important. You don't need to memorize these formulas because they're given at the start of every math section, but they're quite simple and all of you should know these. Circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, area of a circle is pi r square, and the number of degrees of arc in a circle is 360. Let's have a look at this diagram. This is important. What's a central angle? A central angle in a circle is basically formed by two radii. We have r here, we have r here. This angle basically lets us define a portion of the circle's circumference, that's an arc, or a portion of the circle's area, which is the sector. As I've stated earlier, if you form an arc by two radii, it becomes a sector. Now the interesting thing to note over here is the number of degrees of arc in a circle is 360. This entire is basically what? It is 360 degrees. Since the circumference and area both describe the full 360-degree arc of circle, we can set up proportional relationships between parts and the whole, like this. So from here, we basically have the area of sector formula and the arc length formula. So central angle over 360 equals arc length over the entire circumference equals sector area over the entire circle area. So basically the area of a sector basically becomes central angle theta over 360 into circle area, which is pi r square. And if theta is in radians, then it will look something like this. The area will become theta over 360 is basically 2 pi into pi r square. This remains the same. The pi cancels out and we have theta over 2 into r square. This is only when the angle is in radians. Now let's have a look at the length of the sector. So if you want to find out the arc length, it will look something like this. Arc length, just use the same ratio that I have written over here. Central angle theta over 360 into circumference, which is 2 pi r. This is the formula for the arc length. And if you have the angle in radians, then it will look something like this. Theta over 360 is 2 pi into 2 pi r. This cancels out and we are left with r theta when the angle is in radians. So these are a couple of things that you should keep in mind. Let's have a look at this example. In the figure above, point A is the center and the length of the arc BC is 3/10 of the circumference of the circle. What is the value of x? So we are given the ratio of arc length to the circumference and we need to find the measure of the central angle, this angle. And we already have our ratios, which is basically, central angle central angle over 360 equals arc length divided by the circumference. We have already looked at this. So just plug in the values and you will get your answer. This is our x over 360 and this ratio is already given to us, that is 3 over 10. Cross multiply, what do you get? We have x equals 3 into 360 divided by 10. This cancels out and 3 into 36 is basically 90 plus 18 is 108 degrees. This is our answer. Another question. In the figure above, O is the center of the circle. What is the value of x? If O is the center, we have got two radii over here and we are basically looking at an isosceles triangle. If you can figure this out, I think we are done. So if it's an isosceles triangle, then two angles are equal. That means if this is 50, this should be 50 as well. So we can say 50 plus 50 plus angle y equals 180 degrees. So y is basically 180 minus 100, that is 80. But we are not done yet. We have to find this angle. So we can say y plus x equals 360 degrees because the entire circle forms a 360 degree angle. Y is basically 80 plus x equals 360 and x equals, we have 280 degrees. This is our answer. Another interesting question. In the figure above, O is the center of the circle and AC and BD are two diameters. Okay, this is a diameter and BD is also a diameter. What is the value of x? Interesting. If O is the center, then this is a radii, OB is R and OA is also R. Again, we are looking at an isosceles triangle and this is also equal. OC is also R and OD is also R, they are also equal. Okay, so if this is 35, then this angle should also be 35. We are looking at an isosceles triangle. So 35 plus 35 plus angle Y should give us 180 degrees. Y is basically 180 minus 70 will give us 110. Now let's have a look at this triangle, that is OCD. So if y equals 110, then this angle should also be 110 because it is vertically opposite. We have already studied this. So if this is 110, then these two angles are equal because again we are looking at an isosceles triangle. This is x, this is also x. So we have 110 plus x should give us 180. 2x equals 70, x equals 35. This is our answer.